Hello, everyone, and thanks for checking out the latest PCSS Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Buddy Pearson, the Communications and Marketing Supervisor. Well, we start with some good news from up on the mountain. Berks Elementary's Chris Clark was recognized recently with a special celebration for being selected as a 10 under 10 awardee this year. Chris is one of 10 Tennessee third graders to serve as the Governor's Early Literacy Foundation's Literacy Ambassadors and received a $1,500 post-secondary education scholarship. Meanwhile, at Avery Trace Middle School, Carolina Jermome is one of the top 100 teachers nationwide for having students make the most gains on Flashlight 360. Flashlight is the progress monitoring platform we use to measure how well our EL students are doing with the ELPA standards. Well, joining us now is Carolina Jermome, a teacher at Avery Trace who has won a very cool award. She's here to talk to us about it. And it something revolves around being like one of the top 100 teachers in the nation.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good honor. So Carolina, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Just kind of explain what the award is and kind of the process you had to go through to get it.
Okay. So it's actually a new software that the ESL department started using this year. It's Flashlight 360. Basically, it's helping us hopefully see growth within our EL students in speaking and writing, because that's their weakest, which makes sense because they're nervous, to speak. So we took a beginning of the year benchmark, a middle of the year, and then we're taking an end of the year one, hopefully next week, my classes anyways. Mm-hmm. So the whole goal and purpose, like with the rubric, we look at it and we kind of see the Flashlight 360, it shows growth over time throughout the year. Yeah. So with before we take the test or the benchmark every the beginning, the middle, and the end, I go through the rubric and I show them, okay, this is what a 1 looks like in speaking, at level 2, a level 3, and it goes up to a level 5. Mm-hmm. And we even go through and discuss, like the differences of, okay, let's look at a 4 and a 5 or a 3 and a 2 or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's basically the focus of it. And apparently my students did really well. So
is this something that you turn in to the company and for them to be able to judge this?
Yes. Yeah. So we don't grade the benchmarks at all. Yeah. We can assign specific, activities or tests, and those we would score. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, like the benchmarks I don't know who grades them, but it's not us. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, now, how long have you been at Avery Trace?
This is my 3rd year.
Yeah. Now, what brought you to Avery Trace?
Well, my husband was kind of tired of listening to me complain because I taught Spanish for 7 years, which I really enjoyed it when I started teaching Spanish. Mm-hmm. It's different getting to know the high school kids and whatnot, but I just didn't feel like I was doing much at all, for like the community, and I didn't feel like I was, I don't know, like my heart wasn't in it. Okay. So I actually went back to school and I got 2 endorsements, my ESL endorsement and my SPED endorsement. So that's kind of how I got into Putnam County. I got my SPED endorsement and I went to Upperman High, and I did like that. Mm-hmm. But I felt like I was getting pulled a little bit more than I would like, and I understand because it was COVID and all that. So, sure. But like, I wasn't feeling the fulfillment, you know? So I went back that year and got my ESL endorsement. I'm like, maybe, this is it. And growing up as an EL student myself, I can have those personal connections with my students. Yeah. And that's like one of the things that I don't think I really had teaching Spanish. So I feel like now I'm like, I was you. Like, I understand how you feel, and I can make those connections. And hopefully my goal is, to encourage them and motivate them to do better. And well, I think it's working. Yeah,
it seems to be working out very well. Yeah. Now, what grade are you teaching?
This year I have all 6th grade and one group of 7th graders. Okay. So we get moved around a little bit based off numbers. So it's not always consistent.
Well, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from originally?
Well, I actually was born in Mexico, but I was raised my childhood was in Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
I went to the old Prescott Middle School.
Yeah.
Then I went to Avery Trace Middle School.
Right.
So it's a little weird being a teacher there, but it's cool because I can tell my students, I went to school here. And then I went to Cookeville High School, and then I went to Tennessee Tech for my bachelor's.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, and you decided to stay in the area.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I'm glad I did. I have a lot of family here, and lots of friends, thanks to my husband. So he loves making new friends. But it's hard to leave that behind.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, doing what you're doing right now, what is the biggest thing, the most rewarding thing for you from a teaching perspective?
Definitely seeing my students grow.
Yeah.
I know, like, I have a couple of students that I can think of, that didn't show growth,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that they're trying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to kind of just let that go. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know they could do better. And I told them, like, I try to be as honest as I can. I'm like, I have test anxiety, so I totally understand, like, why you're not doing well, because they do try.
Yeah.
But it's hard for them. And I always try to tell them, like, any kind of growth is powerful, like, you're at least not staying stagnant, and you're continuing to do better. I had a little motto last year, and I kind of wish I did it this year, was do better, be better.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
So, yeah.
Well, that's a great motto for life.
Yeah,
really.
right.
That's super. Yeah.
But I always try to, every day on my lesson plans, I always put it on there, do better, be better, And I think I'm going to stick with that for however long I do this for,
Yeah.
Because I do think, like, you can't be better if you're not trying to do better.
Exactly.
So.
Well, now, do you get some sort of recognition with the award? I mean, what comes with it? Is a big check? I mean, anything,
I don't know. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
I know I get a T-shirt.
Well, there you go. You're a top 100 teacher. You get a T-shirt.
Yes. I love a good free T-shirt, So when I got the email from Flashlight, like, I honestly, I didn't even read that I was a top 100. It just said free T-shirt. I'm like, yeah. So I signed up for it, and then other people got the email. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a little bit bigger deal than just getting a free T-shirt.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it has to give you some confidence and also some validation that, what you're doing is working.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely does. And, I feel like teachers, want that fulfillment and see that success in their students. So to me, seeing that, like, in the data, like, it's fantastic. I love seeing that. But because I couldn't do that with Spanish, so I don't know. I love it.
Well, here we are, end of the school year. Are you ready for the school year to be over?
Yes.
Speaking like a true teacher.
Yeah. Just all the testing, and that's part of the reason too that I'm shocked that they did so well.
Yeah.
And I hope that they do better at the end of the year benchmark. Mm-hmm. But with all the testing, like, I'm a little worried that they're just going to be so exhausted. Mm-hmm. But we're still working on the skills. I'm showing them, like, this is a 1, this is a 2. Like, what are we going to do better? You know. So I'm encouraging and motivating them as much as I can. But hopefully they'll show more growth. But we'll see.
Have you already seen some things that you can implement next year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's part of why I really like Flashlight 360, because it's giving them feedback, and it's not just feedback for me. It's other people that are showing them and telling them, maybe try this or do this next time. So I personally like the program. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you have big plans for the summer?
No, not yet. Anyways, my kids are going to summer school, so probably clean the house.
Tell us about your family.
So my husband's actually Frankie.
Okay. Frankie Jermome.
Yes. He works in the technology department.
Yeah.
He's been here for years. Goodness, I don't even know how many years. And then we have 2 kids, Alonzo and Araceli. So.
Awesome.
Yep.
And how old are they?
Yeah. Alonzo is 9. He's in 3rd grade. And then Araceli is 5 in kindergarten.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great.
Big testing years.
Yeah. Well, Carolina Jermome, Avery Trace teacher, top 100 in the Flashlight 360. Congratulations on your award. Congratulations for what you're doing in the classroom, because it is working and it's paying off. And I'm sure every teacher loves to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, it's time to celebrate one of Putnam County's longest tenured teachers, and that's Beverly Story at Parkview, who's wrapping up her 50th year as a teacher in the Putnam County school system. And all 50 have been at Parkview. We had a chance to sit down with Beverly and talk to her about her longevity. And we're here in the classroom of Miss Beverly Story, who is completing her 50th year teaching.
At Parkview. I actually had 2 years before that while I was working on my master's degree in Livingston.
Is that right? And you've been at Parkview the whole time?
50 years.
50 years at Parkview. Wow.
I never thought, no, I don't. I remember when I was a younger teacher, I thought 20 years tops, because that's when you look at your pay scale, and I said, once you hit 20 years, they quit paying you. I think I'll find something else then, but couldn't do it.
So, first of all, how do you like the new school?
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It doesn't hardly feel homey yet, but we're trying to make it feel homey. When you've been in a building what would you say? I won't say old, as
long
age,
as
Parkview was. It kind of grew with us.
Yeah.
And rather this one's already built, like coming in brand new.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So here we are. We're at the end of the school year. I'm sure the students are ready to get out for the summer. Are you ready to get out for the summer as well?
I am. I'm always so excited as a kid, so I know how they feel.
Yeah.
But the same thing in the summer, you think, man, you get up like, well, I wish school would get started back. You'd be surprised how many teachers spend their summers getting ready for the next year. And even if you're not trying to, every time you go to the Dollar Tree, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to need that next year. Or that'd be such a cute idea to put on their desk. That would really help them. You just can't turn it off.
Yeah. Now, what grade are you teaching?
Third grade.
Third grade. Have you always taught third grade?
No, I taught second grade for 24 years, and then I was moved into third grade.
Okay.
And so once I moved into third grade, they said, when a chance came up, they said, do you want to go back to second? I said, no, just leave me where I'm planted. I'm good.
Yeah.
Don't transplant me again. Just leave me right here.
So has the years just gone by so fast? I mean, a lot of teachers don't stay in the profession for 50 years. So obviously something keeps you coming back. What keeps you coming back?
It's just, I feel like this is, I know it sounds corny, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I really think as a student myself when I was younger, I never wanted to ask a teacher something. I was always really shy. Mm-hmm. So I thought, I want to be a teacher, and when kids, I want to try to know if they need help without them asking. Mm-hmm. And I really, I'm pretty good at what I do, and I feel confident. And every year, I never do it the same. Yeah. I never do a year the same.
Really? So it's different every year.
Yeah, you change it. I mean, just the way you think, I could do that better.
Yeah.
After you finish with a unit like Rome or something like that, or the human body, you think, I really could have done this better. But the thing is, these ideas hit you in the middle of the night. Oh, I should have brought in more stethoscopes, or I should have, the geodes, I should have brought in more hammers. I didn't have enough hammers. You always think of something you could do to improve what you just completed. Yeah. And so you get a chance to do over it. I like do-overs. Yeah. So you get a chance to do it all over again with another group of kids.
Now, where are you from originally?
Harriman.
Harriman.
Yeah, I came to Tech to go to school and just never left.
Okay, just got a job at Parkview and stayed there forever.
Because I graduated as a BS in 74, and so then I went at night and got my master's, and that took 2 years. So then it's like, well, might as well just stay here and keep going to school, and then that led to staying here. So we're really lucky that we got to stay in. Yeah. Cookville.
Education has changed so much in the last 50 years. How have you been able to just keep up with all of the changes, the technology, and everything that they throw at you now?
Technology will be what, if something ever makes me decide to leave, I'm pretty sure it won't be my health. I'm healthy as a horse, but it'll be technology. It'll get above me. But the secret to that is I know that's my weaker spot.
Uh-huh.
I'm not as strong there.
Sure.
So you just surround yourself with who is good at it. And you do for them what maybe they might not be able to do.
Yeah.
And it's just give and take. At least it is over here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, and everybody knows, you know, if they say, do you need any technology help? I'll say, you can call me, and they all just die laughing, you know, like, no.
Yeah.
But the good thing, one teacher in a meeting we were at one time said something about me, and they said, she's probably the only one here that can teach without the internet. And I said, I can teach without the internet. It's easier with the internet and more interesting, but yeah, it can be done.
It can be done.
But those basic skills don't change.
Yeah. Right. Because you've been used to doing that for so many years. Right. And now it's just like enhanced help that you can call on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some of it, a lot of it is just incredible.
Yeah.
You know, like the older teachers that have retired that I teach with, they'll say, why do you keep doing it? I'll say, you wouldn't believe this. Like our whiteboard, for example. Uh-huh. I said, I can't imagine not having a whiteboard now. It's the first thing we asked when we were moving over here. Are they going to have our whiteboard installed before school starts?
Yeah.
You know, I think that, yeah, well, exactly. And they did. While we were moving in, they were installing them, but we were very technology like that. And it's so advanced.
Yeah.
But that has its drawbacks too, because you don't want it to lean too far one way or too far the other.
Sure.
Just a good mix.
Yeah. Because
I tell the kids, and they get tired of hearing me say it like your own kids do, that the only reason you come to school, your job is to get ready to live, and I do like that toward the window. They said the real world. Yeah. I said, that's the only reason you're sitting in here doing math and reading today, because your parents are doing it at home because you have to go out in that real world.
That's right.
And you have to be prepared. So I try to make it where they know why they're here.
Yeah.
Such a purpose.
Oh, that's great. Well, how have the students changed over the years? Because obviously your student today isn't the same kind of student you taught 50 years ago.
No. And it's the technology. Well, and it's not just the kids being on technology. The whole world, their family has changed.
Yeah.
The family dynamics have changed.
That's right.
Considerably. I mean, just between my daughters and now grandson and granddaughters, what my daughters do with their kids now is totally different lifestyle than what, you know, when my girls are.
Yeah, they're being raised different.
Right.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, when we would go home, we'd probably turn on the TV and have a snack, but they were with me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish they would. But they would want to stick right to you, hanging on to your legs and everything else.
Right.
And that was a plus, too. They both got to go to Parkview. Then they both ended up at Tech, so we were very fortunate to have them.
Yeah.
And then some of the teachers here, actually, several of them went to Parkview, so it's just like a tradition that just keeps hanging on.
Yeah.
That's why we were so happy whenever we loved being the Pandas. It was perfect for us over there when we went back down.
Right.
But when we got to go back to being a Rocket, the ones of us who had been Rockets felt like it was a homecoming.
Yeah, that's great. Now, how many teachers who teach here now did you teach in school?
Well, Miss Winningham across the hall from me, she was one. Matter of fact, she was my daughter's closest friend. She went home after school with me nearly every day that her dad would let her. And let's see, there's two others that said they went to Parkview, but I never had them.
Okay.
So,
but to be teaching with them now, that's got to be pretty special.
And see, that's why I don't feel really old. I think when I'm around Miss Winningham and Miss Longmire, and I feel like I don't feel old, because we're all doing the same thing, going for the same goal. And it just makes you, when you're around the kids and then you're around smart people like that.
Yeah.
Because I tell new people when I introduce myself, when they come to our school, I'll say, anything you want, come and get me. I won't know how to do it, but I will know who does know how to do it.
That's right.
I said, I will be able to direct you to find help, even though I can't do it myself.
Well, in 50 years, what is your favorite subject that you like to teach?
Believe it or not, I'm not good at math, but I like teaching math.
Really?
I think it's just because it's just so cut and dried. Even the new math, once you really get into it, you know what they're doing. It's the same, new math, old math is the same, it's just a different language.
Sure.
And so but I don't know if I could do 4th grade math.
Yeah.
I tell the kids I have to stay in 3rd grade because I don't think I could pass 4th grade math.
Well, which subject is most challenging for you to teach?
The CKLA or language arts, because that is so important. It's the cornerstone to everything.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be able to read it before you can even do the math.
Yeah.
And there's so many aspects of that. And so many people have good ideas. And this is really hard. I think this is where some teachers don't stay in it very long. That you hear all these good ideas, and if you try to do all of them, which you're encouraged to do, it's impossible.
Yeah.
The first couple of years, some of my teachers I started teaching with said, you get to know your kids, and then you think of everything that the district gives you as a menu. And they're all the time we're pushing personalized learning, which really makes it good for that kid.
Sure.
And you just have to be able to pick out what's going to help that student. Like I said, lesson plans, I've never kept a lesson plan more than one day.
Oh, really?
At the end of the day, it's gone. I'm not going to go back next year and say, well, I'm blah, 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 blah. You know, just can't do it that way. I'm kind of better off the cuff anyway.
Okay. Now, how many students have you taught in the 50 years? Have you had a chance to?
Oh, my gosh, I've never put it to it.
Yeah.
Because most of the classes, I'd say we used to average 22 to 23 kids, but here recently it's down closer to 20. So, oh my gosh, I told you I'm not that good at math.
Yeah, but you like teaching it and you're good off the cuff. That's why I thought I'd ask.
I thought, man, if I did that, but it's really cool when you go through a drive-through at McDonald's or something, and you can tell if somebody knows you from school.
Right.
Because they'll just kind of look at you, and you look at them like, I think I know you, but I'm not sure, because they change so much.
Well, if you say you average 20 students a year for 50 years, so we're looking at over 1,000 students.
Yeah, at least I would think so. Yeah.
Over 1,000 students that have come through Parkview that you've had a hand in teaching over a 50-year career. I mean, think about that. Think about all the lives that you've touched in 50 years. Have you had a chance? I mean, what does that mean to you?
Oh, just about everywhere you go, you can tell. Somebody's like, hey, that's Miss Story. You know, you can hear them whispering to whoever they're with, and I just smile and think about it.
Yeah.
And even my daughters have told me that when they see people that went to Parkview with them or didn't, they're always asking about me. And they'll say, even people that don't know you say, are you Miss Story's daughter? Because it's like, well, she helped my cousin whenever nobody else would, thought she was not going to make it. And Miss Story pulled her through. Not just me, but all the teachers over here.
Yeah.
We all have stories like that.
Yeah. Now, are you going for 60?
I don't know. I think that's another reason I can keep going. I haven't set a deadline.
That's awesome. Yeah.
As long as I feel well, I'm the type of person that if my mind is engaged in something like this, I'm better at everything else, even outside of here.
Right.
In the summer, I have a tendency to get a little bit lethargic.
Yeah, like as we all do.
I think, I can do that later.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those. So this keeps me on my
busy.
toes. Yeah. And when I go for physicals and stuff like that, start to say, now are you active? I thought, up and down those steps out there, being on the 2nd floor, I'm very active.
That's right. They've got you up here on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, obviously, moving into a new building has probably been one of the biggest things that has happened during your teaching career. Is there anything else, any other things that really stand out in 50 years of teaching at Parkview that when you say, man, this was something that was really big? Is there anything that stands out?
I think it's the feeling that other people tell you that they get when they come to Parkview.
Yeah.
Because I'm fortunate that I just got to stay at Parkview, but so I don't know the dynamics in a lot of the other schools.
Sure.
But like student teachers and stuff like that, practices that come in or visitors say, it just feels very comfortable here.
Yeah.
And to me, you can't learn if you're not comfortable.
Right. Yeah. So this is your place.
This is my comfort place, I guess. But I really think And it really makes you feel good when you've had students who bring their children to you.
Yeah. Because they had you and they want to make sure that you're going to teach their kids.
One of the ladies said, I told my husband he could send his kids where he wanted to, but I'm sending mine to you. And I said, okay. I think they went to different schools, actually, because she wanted him at Parkview. She said, you all are home, and I want him back at home.
Yeah, that's sweet. New teachers that come in, and obviously there's new teachers that come in every year. Do you offer them any advice as to, how you've been able to stay in it for so long, or is there anything that you tell them when they first come in?
Only if they ask.
Yeah.
If they ask, I tell them, come up any afternoon, you can come over here and watch the parking lot, teacher's parking lot. Not just teachers, but anybody who works here. They carry these little rolling carts behind them full of work to do. I have never done that in 50 years, and I never will.
Really? You stay here and get it done?
I stay here, and I manage my time during the day where I don't have to grade everything they do to know what they know. I know what they know, and I know you have to write it to prove it.
Sure.
And all this, but I can pretty much evaluate them as is.
Yeah.
And then of course, you get excited. Like when you came in, I was over there looking. They just handed me my test scores, and I'm about over there. So I wasn't sitting down. I was standing up. I thought, yes. Every one of them I looked at, and every one of them went up.
Really?
And I thought, oh my gosh, that's all you can ask. No matter where you started, if you make that kind of gain, I think that's what we kind of neglect sometimes in the data part. We don't really put the emphasis on the gains as to what the ending score is. Like, say a child at this point's not at the end of third grade level testing wise.
Sure.
But they came up, maybe when I got them, they were in first grade level. Yeah. And that's not unusual. It's not a lot, but there are some students that develop slower.
Sure.
And when you can make 2 years progress with a child, but they're not hardly where they want them to be, I'm like, 2 years progress in 1 year?
That's great.
You can't ask any more than that.
That's right. Well, it's been great talking with you, and it blows my mind that you have been teaching for 50 years, and you've been teaching at Parkview for 50 years, and you're going to continue to keep teaching at Parkview. Anything else that maybe I forgot to ask or that you want to add?
I can't think of anything. Like I say, if somebody wants to get into it, like my youngest daughter, both of our daughters went to Tech and got a marketing degree in business. Yeah. And one got out and got in the corporate world. She said, I'm not doing anybody any good. And she went back to get a teaching degree, and it totally floored me because I never thought, when my kids were sick, they'd have to sleep in the closet while I was still teaching. Because, there wasn't anybody around to leave them with.
Right.
And, but I'm really proud to see that she and Miss Winningham, especially since they were best friends, I think Parkview did them good. So if I can watch them grow up into having their kids, and like Miss Winningham has her 2 daughters over here now, I think it's almost like a legacy.
Yeah,
like it's just
sure.
Keeps on, and I can see how good I think they are.
Yeah.
I thought I just really hope that Parkview had something to do, with making them decide they wanted to do that. And Miss Winningham was the same way. She had another profession, and she went back and got her teaching certificate.
Great. That's Beverly Story, 50 years at Parkview and still going strong. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Come back anytime.
Wow, 50 years. Well, we want to remind everybody about all the graduation ceremonies that's coming up. And we've got 5 to talk to you about. On Tuesday, May 20th, the Upper Cumberland Adult Education will hold its graduation ceremony at Central City Church at 6 p.m. On Thursday, May 22nd, Vital and the Adult High School will hold commencement at Life Church at 6 p.m. On Friday, May 23rd, Upperman will hold graduation at 6 p.m. at Tennessee Tech's Hooper Eblen Center. On Saturday, May 24th, Cookeville High will hold commencement at 10 a.m. at Tennessee Tech's Hooper Eblen Center. And also on Saturday, May 24th, Monterey will have graduation at the MHS Gymnasium starting at 4 p.m. And that's going to do it for the PCSS Connection for this week. Hey, be sure to check out our social media on Instagram and Facebook, and always log into our YouTube channel. God bless everybody and have a great week.